Live in the Bank Plus studio, where college football meets the all lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds, streaming around the world live at the Out of Bounds radio app and on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
Where are you?
The Zone.
Oh, man, hour number 3 of the Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by the 16 locations, Mississippi Ag. Manage your land with a John Deere tractor from Mississippi Ag. John Deere, America's tractor. Welcome in. Good morning. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app, and you can watch the show on Facebook. Search the Out of Bounds Show. We welcome in our friend Bobby Belt, Dallas Cowboys insider with the NFL Network, among other entities. And there's a lot of concern here in the state of Mississippi, and I'm sure in Texas, about Dak Prescott and his injury. All right, so I'm concerned about this. Aikman dropped a little nugget last Thursday night that it was more serious than the Cowboys organization was letting on. Bobby, tell us what you know. What is the latest on Dak and his injury?
So it's always funny dealing with the Cowboys and injuries. I think to fully understand the level of concern here, you have to look at kind of like the history over the last several years of how the Cowboys have dealt with injuries. And so you go back to 2016 preseason when Dak first got the job, when Tony Romo had that break in his back during the preseason. And when he had got hurt against Seattle, he wanted to go back in. They said, he could have gone back in and played. We just decided not to. There were these reports that, he's walking around the plane, he feels great on the way home, and then it's, he's out 12 weeks. And then you go forward to Dez Bryant's knee injury that same year, where they were really cagey about the details, and nobody could get Dez for an MRI for 3 days, and then it's like, he's out 3 weeks, and we thought it was just a bruise. And, you just go on and on. Dak's shoulder when he got hurt in 2019, you talk to people after that game he played in Philly, they'll tell you, Dak shouldn't have played. That was much worse than we were talking about at the time. They've downplayed injuries from Amari Cooper, Tom Lee, Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins. This is like an MO of theirs. So that doesn't mean that every small injury is a big thing, but it's just concerning when they're talking the way they are about things. And when you hear stuff like the Troy Aikman note, I think he's probably fine, especially since he was doing some light throwing, very light throwing, like screen passes in the joint practice with the Rams the other day. I think if it was truly like his arms were about to fall off, he wouldn't be out there doing it. But, we do know they've talked to the Texas Rangers around here about the injury because it's apparently more common in pitchers. And the Rangers advise them, don't do any sort of ramp up or anything else. Just let it rest, and then cold turkey, just bring him back on the field. And so I think that's how they're approaching it. And he should be fine, but there's just this odd energy around it that makes you wonder about it since they have such a weird history on injuries.
Oh, my stomach's now in shambles. Bobby Belt, Dallas Cowboys
I'm sure
insider.
He'll be fine, Bo.
All right, at Bobby Belt TX on Twitter. And look, the season's around the corner. You've got to follow Bobby on Twitter. He is fantastic during the season. And I'm telling y'all, on Sunday, I get a beer. I got the Red Zone. I'm always watching the Cowboys because obviously I'm a huge Dak fan. And then I watch Bobby Belt and Marcus Mosher, and it's pure entertainment. All right. So, Bobby, what do you think? Do you think they'll let this thing go maybe another – this is a lifetime in the NFL. Another 2 weeks at least before they, quote-unquote, just let it rip with him? What do you think?
So they'll be back in Frisco later this week or early next week. I can't remember. But if when they return to Frisco, he's still not throwing, or we're out for a couple days at Frisco practice and he's still not full go, that's when I think it's time to hit the panic button. Before then, I think it's just weird, and I think it's an odd thing. But I think the time to start sounding the alarms is if they're back in Frisco practicing and Dak is still nursing this thing, because that you're getting into a troubling timeline now to ramp up and be ready.
So he doesn't need a lot of work, but you agree that he needs a little bit of work at kind of full
I
speed
think so,
before.
Yeah, just rust. I mean,
Okay.
He missed the entire second half of the season last year.
Right.
Actually, the last 2/3 of the season. And I think there is some discussion that perhaps this injury occurred because, he goes hard and he throws a lot in the off season at his house with the guys, and so this could just be an overuse thing. That's the one thing the one negative side, I guess, of Dak Prescott's work ethic is sometimes he overdoes it, and I think that's potentially what caused the tinge in that shoulder or in that lat muscle. And so, he's gotten in a lot of work this off season. He's done a lot to throw to guys. So, I mean, I don't know how much of a ramp up is needed, but I mean, he's still got to. It'd be nice to get more than just, 1 or 2 padded practices in before the season starts.
Fair enough. Yeah. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the young man loves to work. I saw one workout at Mississippi State summer for his 2014 season when he kind of became a star. I've never seen anything like it. So we're visiting with Bobby Belt, Dallas Cowboys insider. He's got a great podcast also with the NFL Network. He joins us on the Modelo guest line. All right, so let's assume he's okay. We're moving forward. What else are you seeing or hearing from camp that makes you believe that they can put themselves in position to win the NFC East and grab a playoff berth, Bobby?
So I think just being healthy alone is enough for them to win the division. I think that defense was so bad last year. There's too much to overcome there, I think, for you to be a Super Bowl contender this year in one off season. It's really like a 2-year rebuild. But they can be good enough to win the NFC East and be a contender. And I think that just comes down to health mainly. Washington's probably their biggest concern. But I think that the thing that gives me the most confidence heading into this year is Mike Nolan is gone. This is Dan Quinn's defense now, and the guys like Dan Quinn. They did not necessarily – I won't say they disliked Mike Nolan. I think everybody liked him as a person. I think they just felt like he didn't know what he was doing. But I think Dan Quinn is a big boost. I think hearing Leighton Vander Esch is healthy and is practicing really well is something that's encouraging. And then Michael Parsons has looked great. And so there was so much that was wrong last year with their linebackers specifically. And so many of these big busted plays were linebacker issues. And so I think that's my biggest confidence that they can contend this year is that it really feels like Michael Parsons is ready to step in and play right away, and Leighton Vander Esch is healthy. And so you've kind of fixed some of the issues with the linebackers. And you still got to hope the safeties are better this year with Devontae Casey and Donovan Wilson stepping up as a full-time starter. But, I think the linebacker issue hopefully being remedied a little bit is enough coupled with health for them to win the division.
Bobby Belt on the Out of Bounds show. I've got 1 minute, Bobby. If Dak is healthy, what's the ceiling for this Cowboys offense?
They can be just as good or better as they were last year with him in there. So they've got an opportunity to be a 40-point offense any Sunday. 40, potentially 50 points they can drop on any given Sunday, and depending on the opponent. You just got to hope they don't give up 51. That's kind of the big hope. And if they manage to do that, then they're going to be in good shape. They'll make the playoffs.
All right, there you go. He's a great follow on Twitter at BobbyBeltTX, joining us on the Modelo guest line. Cowboys insider Bobby Belt, the latest on Dak. We'll cross our fingers. Hopefully a week and a half from now, he's back out there and letting it rip. Bobby, thanks so much, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate it, Joe.
Bobby Belt on the Out of Bounds show. I'm telling y'all, he's great to follow anytime, but on game day, pure entertainment on NFL Sundays at Bobby Belt TX. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by the new Eye Care Professionals location, Flowwood Belle Meade. From a routine eye exam, blade-free LASIK and cataract surgery. Eye Care Professionals, new location, Belle Meade in Flowwood. Back in a second. Brad Edwards on Bobby Bowden at 9:30.